Good day, sir. My name is Lancaster Justine, and I am going to tackle about the history of volleyball. The history of volleyball. The history of volleyball began in Massachusetts, USA in 1895. Its inventor was William J. Morgan, professor of physical education. The original name of volleyball. The original name of volleyball was Mintonet, but the name volleyball was soon adopted. The net in the history of volleyball. William Morgan got his inspiration from tennis regarding the idea of a net sport, however, with the net positioned higher than the tennis net. History of the volleyball ball. The volleyball had to be somewhat bigger than a tennis ball, but lighter than a basketball. A light leather ball that could be easily thrown over the net was then created. History of the volleyball rules. In 1912, the number of players in a volleyball team was 6, which is the same as the current number. The rotation system of the servers was also implemented concurrently. Volleyball scoring system. In 1916, the scoring system changed to a format that resembles today's scoring system. The maximum number of points changed from 21 to 15 points, and the sets were first introduced. The winner was determined as the best of 3, meaning that 2 sets were required in order to win a match. Volleyball reaches Europe. In 1915, volleyball reached the French beaches brought by American soldiers who fought in the First World War. Volleyball spread especially through Eastern Europe, where the indoor games are popular due to the very cold climate. Limit on the number of hits and blocking rules. In 1920, there was a great modification in the rules of volleyball. It was established that each team was allowed to touch the ball a maximum of 3 times. The first attempts at blocking happened even after they were identified and recognized by the rules. Only in 1948, blocking was codified into the rules. Volleyball became an Olympic sport. Did you know that volleyball became an official Olympic sport in Tokyo in 1964, the same year in which the rules of the international volleyball were standardized? Playing with the feet. In 1994, new regulations were approved to be introduced in January 1, 1995. Among them, the ball might be hit with any body part, including the feet. New rules in 1998. Rally point system at 25 points and 15-point tie-break set. It is also the introduction of the player libero. It is the greater freedom for coaches to give instructions. So now we are going to tackle about the basic equipment used in volleyball. So first, the ball. The standard volleyball is made of leather or synthetic leather, weighs between 9 and 10 ounces, and has a circumference of 25.6 to 26.4 inches. The ball has a rubber bladder and can be one color or a combination of colors. Synthetic leather is lighter and is fine for beginner players. Second, the net and court. The outdoor volleyball court measures 8 by 9 meters, surrounded by the free zone that is 2 meters wide on all sides. Third, lines. The playing court is marked by 2 sidelines and 2 end lines. All lines must be 2. inches wide and must be created with a light color that is easy to discern from the playing court. An attack line should be placed 3 meters from the center line. The center line divides the court into two 9 by 9 meter courts. Fourth, posts and cables. So the volleyball net structure is held together with metal cables and posts. Posts are placed 0.5 to 1.0 meter outside the sidelines and 2.55 meters high. Posts should be round, smooth, and padded to prevent injury to the players should they dive or crash into them. Metal wires and cables may need to be covered if it is determined that they present a danger to the players. Antenna and sidebands. Antenna are flexible rods that are 1.8 meters long made of fiberglass, fastened at the outer edge of each sideband. Knee pads. Knee pads should be sturdy enough to protect your knees from falls, slides, and dives, but flexible enough to allow you to bend comfortably. Shoes. Arc and ankle support is key when choosing a volleyball shoe. Mizuno, Asics, and Nike are just a few of the popular brands of volleyball shoes, which are lightweight, allowing you to be faster on your feet, as well as bearing good shock absorption on your toes. Clothing and jewelry. All clothing should be lightweight to allow maximum flexibility and breathability, as well as made of a material that absorbs sweat and keeps skin dry. Now we are going to tackle about the 7 fundamental skills in playing volleyball, which are forearm passing, or also known as bumping, volleying, setting, digging, attacking, blocking, and lastly, serving. Let's tackle it one by one. So first, forearm passing or bumping. By far one of the most basic skills in volleyball is passing, or also known as bumping. This is when a player contacts the volleyball with their forearms and redirects the ball to one of their teammates. A good defensive stance when waiting to pass the ball is to have bent knees, body leaning forward at the waist with the weight of the body slightly forward, and arms bent out in front, but hands not clasped together. This position makes it easier to move towards the ball. So volleying. A volley can be used on your own side of the court, or it can be used as an offensive way of getting the ball back over the net. Put your hands up over your head with your index fingers almost touching your forehead, and your thumbs and index fingers shaping into almost a diamond. That's the starting point for an overhead pass. Don't contact the ball with your arms fully extended. Otherwise, the only strength you'll have behind your volley will be from your wrists. You'll want to bend your arms as well as your knees and extend them both as you're contacting the ball. Setting. A set is a specialized type of volley. It's usually the second hit, and it's intended to set one of your teammates to attack the ball. So, it's basically volleying the ball in a way that means the attacker can hit the ball over the net. The difference between a set and a regular volley is that you are aiming your set in a very specific way. Getting it on target is the most important factor when setting the ball. Attacking. Hitting or spiking is when a player jumps up and hits the ball with a one-armed overhead, swinging motion, contacting the ball squarely with their slightly open hand. The intent of a hit is pure power, Jumping helps generate more power and momentum. A skilled player also aims the ball around the block and targets the area of the opposing team's playing area that they think has the weakest defense coverage. Digging. Diving or digging is basically crashing to the floor in an all-out attempt to keep the ball from touching the floor. When diving for the volleyball, remember that you want to contact the ball before you hit the floor. The diving technique is basically a way to land that minimizes the amount of impact on your body. Blocking. Probably one of the most straightforward named skills. A block is defensive play when a player jumps at the net to block the hit from coming into their team's side of the net. And lastly, serving. When serving, the player has to start outside the back line of the court and can only step into the court after they've contacted the ball. Again, since you start with full control of the ball when serving, make sure you give yourself enough room to serve the ball without getting a foot violation. So I think that's all. Thank you very much, sir, for listening, and I hope that you've understood my report. God bless and thank you so much.